Though we are already about 2 weeks into the NRL finals, I want to actually, with this video, look back on the regular season. As some of you may have been aware, I've already done a live stream reacting to some of my NRL season predictions from what was meant to happen this year. Some went well, others didn't go well. But I've always been interested in some stats and comparison. So what I've done is I've gone through 15 other rugby league YouTubers' season predictions and have put a formula into judging on how accurate they were, and explaining some of the anomalies that have occurred in terms of majority of the predictions that have been played. So without further ado, let's get into comparison. I believe the first thing that needs to be done is obviously explaining how the scoring is going to be worked out. So I've come up with this sort of formula or whatever. It's called NRL Ladder Golf. I think it's a very much a working title, but we can work out in post. So pretty much the rules are you get +1 for every position difference that you make. So for example, if somebody was to predict that the Penrith Panthers would come dead last, they would add +15 to their score, because that's how many position differences they were from what there was predicted to what actually happened. You take 1 point off your score for each position you get correct. For example, someone tipping the Dragons to come 10th. You would take a point off your score. However, there are some differences, as you actually get -2 for if you predict 8th or 9th place correctly. So for example, if you tipped the Brisbane Broncos to come 9th, you would dock 2 points off your score. And the ultimate one being -3 if you predict either the Minor Premiers and the Wooden Spoon. Now, I feel like the significance of the Minor Premiership and the Wooden Spoon is pretty self-explanatory. The reason why I've made it -2 for 8th and 9th is I feel because it's a very contentious two positions, arguably the two of the most important positions in terms of the NRL ladder, because it's the last team that makes the finals and the first team that doesn't. So that's kind of what I've gone for it, and yeah, that's the formula we're working with. So with that, I've compiled a ladder basically with the scores, the positions that they got correct, the minor premiers they picked, and also the wooden spooners they picked. So pretty much all in all, you're looking for the lowest score possible to win. Now before I show the ladder, I should make a bit of a disclaimer here that this is not for the purpose of poking fun at anybody if they have made bad predictions. This is purely just a sort of like researching into seeing what everybody's minds were in terms of their predictions, because some of the predictions that have been made have actually been across the board the same thought patterns that a lot of YouTubers had. So yeah, it's also, if you're trying to shame, it's also kind of hindsight bias. So yeah, don't do that, please. It's pretty much, and it's like I'm probably, in terms of my predictions, I'm kind of the last person to be trying to poke fun at people for their predictions. So without further ado, let's show the ladder. Coming in first place with what I actually have seen to be a ridiculously good score with +22 was Sam Revel. Second place with +29 being National Sports Loaded. Hold the Ball coming third with +39. Alpha coming fourth with +40. Dingo, Pro Enzo, Paddy G and Moxley all tying for 42 points. Warriors NRL Fanatics, Just Rugby League and Nick from Australia tying with 46. Myself and Mr. Luke Sports tying with 47. Entertain House starting with 48. Big House Sport with +56. And Around the Grounds rounding up the table with +63. So, random a bunch of numbers, this doesn't make sense. But there is some things that is brought up. An interesting situation predicts, as you see, with 11th place. As you see, Nick from Australia in his CG column, which is the correct guesses, ended up with none correct guesses. So none of the teams he predicted, neither one of them landed in the position that he predicted. However, he still finished above 5 other YouTubers, including myself, which is kind of an interesting concept. You've also got, obviously, Sam Revel finishing with 5 correct guesses, being tied with Hold the Ball as well. It's you can very much see after first and second, you can really start to see the mean come in. So pretty much between 39 and 48. So pretty much like a 9-point difference is where about 13, 12 YouTubers all funnel themselves in. Now we go into the wooden spoon category, and obviously there are some interesting ones. For example, there is about 7 YouTubers, including myself, that tipped the West Tigers would come last, which ended up happening. However, there is a sizable majority, or minority to say the least, of people that predicted the Cowboys to come last. Now, I feel like almost everybody in this ladder, I should state, not the ones who picked the wooden spoon, but a lot of them did put the Cowboys not in the finals. However, 2 didn't. Sam Rebel and Nick from Australia. It should be also noted that the reason for that is because they are both Cowboys fans. So with Sam Rebel being a Cowboys fan, that could very much have helped in his predictions, because obviously you see some of the other correct guesses, because you see, like say, a channel like me who also got the the wooden spoon correct, but falling about 25 points below. And that also can come into play with the minor premiership, as though a sizable minority did pick Penrith to get right, which actually is bringing up that only 3 YouTubers got both the minor premiers and wooden spoon correct, being Sam Revel, CT Dingo, and Hold the Ball. There is also a sizable majority overall that picked the Roosters to get the minor premiership, which is obviously a 6-point difference, but a couple picking Manly being the minor premiers, including CJ Moxley and myself. And I feel like with every other YouTuber here, all of them predominantly put Manly inside of the top 8, some into majority, I think, actually in the top 4, and obviously, like with me and CJ Moxley, putting him to take out the minor premiership. That, to me, is the 2 key underliers when it comes to this ladder. It is the overestimating of the Manly Sea Eagles and the underestimating of the North Queensland Cowboys. So yeah, those are some of the anomalies that I have seen here. So pretty much here's the full ladder. So Sam Rebel and is pretty much the god of all predictions. So yeah, that's who you're supposed to be following in terms of your correct predictions. But yeah, this is the full ladder here. This is not meant to poke fun at anyone, but this is just purely just for statistical purposes. It's don't hindsight judge people, you know, because I mean, I put the Cowboys to come 15th, and I picked Manly to be the minor premiers. I've suffered enough. So anyways, that's the video today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see yous all later.